Hi everyone, this is Gabby from Step Success Occupational Therapy, and today we're going to be talking about something that many families struggle with but don't always realize has a sensory component, which is hair care. Hair brushing, washing, or styling isn't just about appearance. In occupational therapy, hair care is considered an activity of daily living, or an ADL, and that means it supports independence, participation, confidence, and regulation. And for many children, especially those with sensory processing difficulties or differences, hair care can feel overwhelming, uncomfortable, and sometimes even painful. And today I want to walk you through why hair care can be challenging and share some OT strategies you can use at home to make grooming routines calmer, more successful, and less stressful for everyone involved. So, first, we want to understand the challenge and why this happens. So, hair grooming actually requires multiple sensory systems working together. The first one being tactile processing or the touch system. The scalp has very high concentrations of nerve endings. And so, for children with tactile sensitivity, sensations like brushing, pulling, or water running down, or fingers running through the hair that can register as extremely intense. And you might notice your child avoiding brushing or crying or fleeing when grooming times come around, refusing haircuts, or becoming emotionally overwhelmed very quickly. And it's important to know that this is not behavioral defiance. It's a nervous system response. So their brain is interpreting touch as threatening rather than neutral. The next is proprioceptive processing or body awareness. So proprioceptive input tells the brain where the body is in space and helps organize sensory information. When children don't get enough organizing body input, grooming sensations can feel unpredictable or unsafe. So that's why adding movement or deep pressure before hair care can make such a big difference. The next thing is emotional regulation and anxiety. So hair care combines several different elements at once. So strong physical sensations, the anticipation of being uncomfortable, loss of control, time pressure, and all of this can activate a child's fight or flight response. So what this looks like, what it may look like refusal, but it's often the nervous system's way of trying to protect itself. So we're going to go into strategies. The first strategy is sectioning the hair, and I can show that to you right now. So sectioning the hair. You want to break the hair into small sections because it increases predictability. As you can see here, I already broke it into sections. If you need be, you can always break it into 4 sections or even more, depending on however many you need. So instead of one long, overwhelming task, the child experiences clear beginnings and endings to the task. So once your hair is sectioned, you can say, okay, we're moving on to this section is done. Now we're going on to the next one, and there's 2 more to go. And this supports sequencing skills and reduces pulling from multiple directions. So say I have my child here, I have my 2 sections here, and I say, okay, we're done, moving on to the next one. There's no pulling coming from this direction. It's just this part of the head that's being worked on. So the next strategy would be to brush the ends first. You always want to start by brushing the ends of the hair first because it prevents tugging at the scalp and significantly reduces pain input. And just as a tip, you want to hold the hair right above the tangle. So say there is a knot right here. You want to hold the hair right above, and then you want to brush below, starting at the bottom. And then once that section is worked out, you can work your way up, hold again, and keep brushing. And then you have nice and smooth hair without all of the pain. And this builds trust and improves tolerance for hair brushing over time. The next tip that I would suggest, I don't have it with me right now, is using a detangling spray or conditioner. Less friction equals less sensory stress. So detangling products allow the brush to glide smoothly and they shorten the grooming experience. They're going to make the time spent on brushing your hair a lot less, a lot shorter, and then shorter successful routines help the nervous system learn that hair care is safe. And the next strategy I'm going to talk about is providing sensory input before hair care. So before you even start this, you want to give the body organizing input. You want to try wall push-ups, bear crawls, carrying something heavy, squeezing therapy if you have it, or deep pressure hugs if your child will allow for it, because proprioceptive input helps calm and regulate the nervous system before this challenging or non-preferred task. The next thing you want to do, which ties into the sections tip that I gave you, is to provide transitional cues. So predictability lowers anxiety. And some helpful tools with this include timers, visual schedules, consistent routines. You want to do hairbrushing either in the morning or at night every single day, or simple first then language. So consider first brush, then video, whatever favorite video they want to watch, or first brush, then your favorite show, so that they know that after this, there's a reward at the end and this end. And the brain feels safer when it knows what's coming next. The next thing, strategy that I want to talk about is offering choice and control. So control is incredibly regulating for children. So you want to offer choices like which brush to use. I don't have multiple options here. I just have this one, but say we had a comb. You want to offer choices like brush or comb, sitting or standing if they want to do it, sitting or standing, music or video during brushing, or letting them do the brushing themselves. It gives them a little bit more autonomy, and it increases and encourages confidence and decision-making skills. So even small choices, they increase participation and cooperation. Some other choices can even be, if they tolerate hair care a little bit more, is their choice in hairstyles. So one or two buns, bun or ponytail, hair up or down, or even the use of these tools like clip or hair tie are great ways for you to engage your child in these activities, or even engaging their interest. What is their favorite color? If their favorite color is blue, use blue clips, a blue brush, a blue hair tie, whatever is going to get your child interested and engaged while you do this non-preferred activity. The next thing I want to talk about, moving on to hairstyles, is something like choosing supportive hairstyles. So you want to do styles like braids, loose buns, protective hairstyles, headbands, or silk pillowcases. So sometimes prevention is the best strategy. You're not always going to be successful every day. And when you're not, it helps if the hair is already not entangled. So having these hairstyles already in place, like sleeping with a bonnet, sleeping with them in braids, is going to reduce the tangles and decrease how often brushing is even needed. And this limits daily sensory stress. As we know, with neurodivergent children, sensory processing can be difficult. And so sometimes small environmental changes can have a really huge impact. So you want to consider things like doing the hairbrushing in a quiet space, having softer lighting. If you're washing the hair, use warm water temperature. Brushing during a preferred activity, like putting on Miss Rachel in the background, or using a weighted towel or lap pad for calming input. So the goal is to help the nervous system, again, feel safe. Another tip is to do gradual desensitization. So tolerance develops very slowly. You want to start small, touch the brush briefly if that's the first step that they need to do. If they are very sensitive, sometimes the activity can be extremely scary and extremely uncomfortable. So they're not going to want to even be in the room. If you need be, bring the brush to them, have them touch it very briefly. That's where they need to start. Or even if they want to move a step forward, do one hair strand, a little section of the hair, one stroke at a time. And you want to stop while you're successful. You don't want to keep pushing until you're at the point of a meltdown or a tantrum, because the goal is consistency, not intensity. And that is what builds sensory adaptation. The last tip that I want to share with you guys is co-regulation. So co-regulation always comes first. Children learn regulation through their relationships before they can self-regulate. So you want to use a calm voice, slow pacing, validation, like I know this feels hard, or breathing together. And we really need to be mindful of the way that we're feeling in our responses to things, because children can pick up on that. And if we're stressed, they're going to be stressed in an already stressful situation. So emotional safety improves participation more than completion or forcing completion. Okay, remember that. Let's go on to, we went through all of those. So, when to consider occupational therapy? You may want to consider occupational therapy if your child has any of these listed. So, they're showing extreme distress during grooming, avoiding bathing or haircuts, has a strong reaction to touch, struggles with daily self-care routines, or frequently becomes dysregulated during hygiene tasks because OTs focus on addressing the underlying sensory and regulation needs, not just the behaviors that you see. And the bigger picture is when we adapt routines to meet a child's sensory needs, hair care becomes more than just hygiene, it's regulation, confidence, independence, family interaction, and positive daily routines. So we're not trying to teach them to tolerate discomfort. We are trying to help them and their nervous systems feel safe enough to participate at all. So if this video was helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe and share with another caregiver who might need these strategies. Let us know in the comments what daily routines feel hardest for you right now, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.